welcome to episode 51 of Spill the RT. My name is Eamon B. B for bitch. Shanahan, I can't even say my whole name there. And I'm here with Josh Stein. Hi, Josh. How are you?
Hey, hello, Eamon. So is your new nickname just Bitch? Is that how this is going to be from
Bish, 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 not bitch, Bish, not bitch, Bish. Josh, it's been a week. We've had a little break last week, as you noticed, everybody, in that we had no episode last week. After our 50th episode, we took a little hiatus, and
Amo lost his mind a little bit,
Amo
but
lost
it's
his
okay.
mind. Yeah, I went into tech, and my whole mind went into mush after all of that. So I now don't even know how to say my last name. But there we go. That's okay. It's fine. It's fine. We're spilling tea, so that's all what's happening.
It's all good.
It's all G. It's all G. And Josh, how was your week?
The usual, long but sunny.
Long, but so yeah, it's beautiful here too. The weather's gorgeous. Great to be in the black box last week, so it was going in with the sunshine, coming out with the sunshine, and then the sunshine goes away.
Yep, that's kind of called summer.
Yep. Well, with all of that in, I'm going into hallucinations. It's fine. Look. We'll just stick with this.
This is going to be a fantastic episode.
This show is going to be fabulous, folks. Stick with us, because the tea is being spilt, and we have lots to get covered, and we have a fabulous guest. But Josh, tell us all, what stories are we covering today?
So if you want to see Amo on ketamine without the ketamine, just keep watching.
Just keep watching. Don't hit pause. Just keep playing.
So this week, Gen Z likes art prints, okay? Mm-hmm. France to charge an additional 10 euros to see the Mona Lisa, but only if you're non-European. However, we choose to define that one.
As it should be.
Ironically, a spontaneous strike shut down the Louvre. Another tourist hijink. Tourist sits on and breaks crystal chair in Italian museum. And Ai Weiwei on imitation. All that and a brand new guest are up next as we spill the art tea. Welcome to episode 51.
51. What a great number. We love numbers here, don't we, Josh, and Spill the RT? And
well, I can certainly tell you that 51 is a good place to be. It's better than 52.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, everything's better than 52. Yeah. It is. Everything's better than 52. So, without talking too much about numbers, we're going to bring on our guest, Rónán P. Byrne. Are you ready to come on? Let's bring him down. Boom. Hello, Rónán. How are you?
Hello, how are you guys?
Hello.
How are you?
How are you doing?
We're good.
I'm not too bad. Just 1 second. Thanks very much.
Are you at a drive-in?
I could ask why you're wiping your mouth, but it's not that kind of a podcast.
He just got his drive-through takeout. Did you not just see the Supermax? What did you order, Rónán?
I'm on a podcast. I'm not paying.
What did you order, Rónán?
It doesn't matter as long as my orders are filled. As a dictator would, in a line of cars, and I'm first.
Okay. At least you're first in the line, and are you ready to spill some tea?
Oh, God, yeah.
Great. Well, Rónán, we'll talk about you and your work and what it is that you get up to. I think people can already maybe guess that you are involved in the theatre. But we'll talk about your theatrics very, very soon. But first, we are going to go straight into our first story. So, Josh, where are we going to first?
Off we go, I guess, to the interwebs. There's really no other way to say this, because this is about like a general indexing of what's selling at the arts auctioning and the art fair world. Mm-hmm. What's selling is prints that are less than $50,000. And I just it made me giggle when I thought of that combination. Mm-hmm. I've got money. I don't have enough to buy a real original, but I can get a print, which is, for those who don't know, an edition of something that people should normally want to pay a lot more money for. And so the art market is selling as long as you're under $50,000.
Okay. So, like, I mean, if you were going to spend 50 grand on a piece of art, wouldn't you want to spend it on like a real, like, first edition?
And so that's why it bemused me. Now, when we talk about prints like this, it's not like a normal artist, right? Like you and I are normal artists. Sometimes we do put out editions of things. This is famous stuff where you can't afford the $15 million Basquiat, but you can afford the officially licensed $50,000 Basquiat print.
Yeah.
Or you could take that same 50 grand and support, I don't know, 50 living artists.
Yeah. I mean, like, even if you spend $1,000 on a painting for a living artist who is like emerging or in their first 10 years of practice, like, you'd think that that would go a lot further.
And just think of the odds of that, right? If you
Mm-hmm.
did that for 50, well, you're probably going to have something that's going to gain in value. If what you care about is actually not art for art's sake, but investing in art for it to have more value later, well, investing in a one is putting all of your eggs in one basket.
Completely. Completely.
And not supporting living artists, right? The only people that benefit from that part of the system are the estates of dead artists, people who aren't artists themselves making money off of these transactions, not living artists in any way. What do you think,
Yeah.
Rónán?
It's a copy. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. An expensive copy.
Of any specific art, or like they have to be like Picasso's in there? He's not getting any of that money, is he?
Well, his estate is. Living
Right.
heirs to Picasso would make money from that. But Picasso, the artist, obviously is long dead.
But who makes the prints?
They are typically, these are licensed. They're very high-end studios, even sometimes artists that do this. And so the idea is you're getting something as close to the real thing without it being the real thing.
So
But because it has a name attached to it and a certificate of authenticity, it has much higher value as a result.
So it's like the Aldi or Lidl of art. It's kind of as good, but it's cheaper.
Pretty much.
Okay, Aldi and
it's a
Lidl, we want money. Thank you.
It's a high-priced Temu is the way to think about it in a certain
High-priced Temu. Oh dear.
Because it's not the original, right? You know, going in, you don't have the thing in itself. What you have is an authorized reproduction of that thing.
But they're not necessarily limited either, are they?
Well, that's part of what makes this interesting, is because this is something that you can create to whatever specificity you want. You could do an edition of 50. You could do an edition of 500. You could be Damien Hirst and do 1,000 and say you can have the NFT or the piece, but you can't have both, right? You can do anything you want with this. There's no control of this. The key thing is it's not like a typical living artist that's doing this, because when they do editions and series like this, they're charging a few hundred, maybe a few thousand, not 50 grand a pop. No actual living emerging artist is charging that kind of money. It's not how anyone's actually selling art.
Something I found interesting about this article as well is the fact that it's Gen Zers that are the ones investing in this. Like, where the heck are they getting 50 grand to pay on a print?
Well, as usual, there's always a tranche in every generation, right, that have money. And when
Mummy
we talk
and
about
daddy.
Gen Z, what that means is that's baby boomer money that has ended up in the hands of people who, maybe the baby boomers themselves did nothing to earn it, but for damn sure these people have done nothing because they haven't lived long enough to do anything.
Yeah, their mummy and daddy are paying for their little prints of nothing.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Okay.
There was an article recently. There was an article recently about how most of Manhattan in New York is actually family money that's paying for all these young kids to be living their lives on social media, right? They're not working jobs that pay them enough to be living like this.
No. Well, that was interesting. That was a good story. And a little disheartening.
What were you going to say, Rónán? Well, you have a puzzled look on your.
No, I've just been brought back to Veruca Salt in Willy Wonka, just slamming her feet on the ground. I want it. Who says I can't have it? The man in the funny hat. But I want it.
Yes.
But I want it. You're like a drunk adult or a 4-year-old child, but someone has given you billions of dollars, and you're like, well, I want the original. Well, it's as good as.
But haven't you just described basically the modern world? I mean, that's exactly what's driving most everything that I see. People with too much money, no sense, and basically a 6-year-old sense of what's theirs.
Yes. Yeah.
And that's when smiling and nodding comes into play. And there's nothing better than, of course, dear. Of course you were right.
So,
yes, dear. Moving swiftly.
Speaking of people who smile while saying, you are wrong. Off to the Louvre we go.
To the Louvre.
Okay, so already you pay, let's just say to get into the Louvre, you got to pay 22 euros to get in, okay? and you want to see the Mona Lisa, which is why most people go to the Louvre, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you are non-European, and they're defining that meaning as you don't have EU on your passport, then you got to pay an additional £10 in order to see the Mona Lisa. That will be the new updated planning later on this year.
Okay.
Because they have no money, you see. They need to rebuild the Louvre, and the tourism is driving with the need to rebuild the Louvre. And so why not use the tourists to pay for the rebuilding of the Louvre?
We covered that earlier on in a previous episode where they're talking about giving the Mona Lisa her own little building, or her own little space.
Yes.
That's more
And
isolated
now
towards
there's
the
going to
main
be 2
space.
different ticket prices to go see that painting in that special building.
Well, it doesn't affect us, Rónán, so we're okay because we're European, so we're fine.
Oh, well, I'm always affected by other people's woes. Those poor white middle class people. I feel I should shout for them.
Okay.
I mean, let's be honest. A lot of the world may have never heard of the Louvre, and that's how they pronounce it if they saw it. But they will know what the Mona Lisa is. So a lot of them, if they ever bother to go, they'll probably go and see. Oh, look, there's a Da Vinci thing and that. But that's the main one people think of. Not clever, intelligent people, but mainly people. But most of them, you know. So if they want to have a little hut, like when you visit Santa or something, and you walk past it and it's there, and you think to yourself, that's smaller than I thought. I thought I'd be closer. That's 5 seconds. I'll never get back. And you leave, but you've seen it. And then you're left with the rest of the Louvre to have to deal with. So I pity them. They should have striked. God bless them.
Well, that's leading to the next story. But the thought process behind this is, right, what they're saying is, this is literally what was said. Well, we figured a tourist, they're willing to line up for hours anyway. This is exactly what they're coming to see. So paying an extra €10 to see the very thing they're coming to see, it's kind of like if you go to Disneyland and they decide to raise the ticket price. You're like, well, I came here for this, so I guess I'm in anyway, right?
Yeah.
In for a pound, in for everything, basically. Yeah. And so, but the result of that is our next story at the Louvre is the workers decided, they had a meeting and they were like, this is insane. We can't do this work. There's too many people trying to take selfies. And they literally went on strike after the meeting and shut down the Louvre for half a day. And that put like 4,000 or 5,000 tourists out in the sun.
Yeah. And I think one of the other reasons they were saying was that because the building's falling apart, that they feel like, you know, they're not in a safe condition, and there's piping and all sorts of infrastructural areas that just need work, and it's not a nice place to work, and people are put at risk, and blah blah blah. They're just like, but that the government are saying they're gonna put in €800 million into the refurb of this, but it's gonna take them 10 years to do that. So you just wonder why they kind of can't put a bit more of a fast track in that, given that around the corner Notre Dame was renovated for over $1 billion.
Well, you think about it from the tourist perspective, though, right? Like, you don't know any of this. You've saved up, right? And I get, yes, you're absolutely right on that. Some of those people are absolutely just like upper middle class white folks. They just need something to complain about anyway. But that's not who actually goes to the Louvre, right? Like, it attracts people from around the world. So you picture you're from whatever country, you've saved up, and then you show up and it all just gets shut down. And it's this problem of, like, to me, like, why is the Louvre in such bad condition that it requires this amount of money to fix, right? Because it's like, well, France wants to have its culture, but it doesn't want to pay for it. It wants its cake, but it wants to be able to eat it too. And you can't really do that, right? Like, something has to give. And in this case, apparently it's the building.
Yeah. It's a snake that eats itself, isn't it? Because you want the tourists to come in and see it, but if you have physically too many tourists, they're going to wreck it. So we need to close it down to build it to make it safe again. But while it's closed down, we don't have the tourists, you know, and it just goes back. So I can see that it's a maddening problem, really, as well, for them. They will get 800 million or whatever from a government, but that still doesn't mean that they'll be able to show it off to tourists until it's finished. So that's money they're constantly losing, that they've been constantly making for how long now? How long has the Louvre been going? That how many people go a day? I mean, it's an absolute goldmine, but it probably in today's economy, it's not making enough. And the building is falling apart because there's too many people. Like Skellig Michael during Star Wars, too many people wanted to go out and see it and said, no, you'll ruin the actual monastery. You
So
know.
the problem is this, right? They have slashed tax rates everywhere
Mm.
you can go looking on corporations, right? And so the idea was, well, if you slash the tax rates, corporations have more money, and then they give more. Their largesse does the backstop. But what that means is then you're dependent on them, and if they choose to pull the money, it's even worse, right? Like you actually want government funding for arts and cultural things because that's what's helping you to maintain your culture, right? Like you have no government if you have no culture. The two kind of connect together. But they're not interested in actually having that happen. They want to be able to have the corporations have low tax rates and at the same time be able to claim this maintenance of culture. And like in the US, what that means invariably is private donors. And then you end up chasing the rich a different way, right? They're getting tax breaks on one side, so give us that money another way. Whereas if you just change the whole scheme of how this has worked, right? Like when in place 50, 75, 100 years ago, that's not how this was structured. They have
Yeah.
played and picked away and taken what was created to work. And now it's just this hodgepodge of things to the point where the workers themselves are calling spontaneous strike. Now in France, like a spontaneous, it's like an average Wednesday. That's
Yeah.
what they're going to do anyway, right?
Yeah.
But that is like their only recourse.
Yeah.
Speaks to the complete abandonment of
Yeah.
like, what are we supposed to be doing here?
It's really just a longer lunch for them. You know, they was, was that inappropriate?
I just we're
No,
always
this is.
worried.
How
Are we
dare
going to
you,
get
sir?
canceled? I don't even know. They won't be paying attention. That's so.
Yeah, they don't care what we think. They're French.
Oh, we love the French. J'adore la France. La France. It's feminine. Anywho, that tea is spilled, and we're going to take a little break, and we'll be right back after these messages. Standing by.
Messages.
Messages. Newer Collective, an arts community collective with artists and art publications with fresh work, news and updates added weekly to our online collection at newacollective.com. Here you will also find our Newa Journal featuring articles and podcasts which are also available on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Follow us on Instagram and TikTok, like this video and subscribe to our YouTube channel so you don't miss out on us spilling the RT in our weekly roundups every Thursday. There you have it, folks. So, ding, ding, ding. Let's get some swag. Let's get some subscribing. What are we going to do, Josh? What are all our watchers going to do, our listeners? What do they have to do?
Leave a comment. Say anything.
Yes.
Apparently, that's the thing that matters most here. And then smash that button, like, share, subscribe, send to 3 friends, buy some swag.
Yeah. Bing,
find
bing,
us
bing.
a sponsor. Tell somebody they should be a sponsor. Whatever you want to do.
We got that swag. We got it. We got the swag.
But apparently, the comments are what matter the most.
Okay.
Whatever format you're listening, hearing, watching us, leave a comment. Even if it's just go screw yourselves. Apparently, the algorithm will be like, people like us. They really like us.
They're engaged. They're engaged. Excellent. So if you are watching a video in the future and you feel like supporting them, but you don't have any money to support them, just say, hey, you're cool, or hey, you're a gruel. So whichever you feel like it, just leave a comment. Amazing. Do it. And if you'd like to be a guest on the show, do get in touch with us and speak to us live via the email at hello@newacollective.com. And you can come on and share some tea with us. Sounds
We're
like a
nice
plan.
people.
Yeah, we're
nice
not too
people.
bad. Ronan, is this experience okay for you?
My friends have advised me to answer in the affirmative that you two are good and decent people. I am not blinking in Morse code for help. This is not a cry for help.
So,
moving swiftly.
on we go.
To
On
the
we
next
go.
story.
Oh, yeah. Apparently,
Alright.
though, she didn't sit on it. Apparently, she leaned over it like her butt was on the chair without actually gracing it with her.
Like a lady has learned in any public toilet they've ever been in their life. She hovered. She hovered
Yes.
gently, and men being men just went, take my ass.
And the chair not being intended for an adult at all, could not take that ass. And
No.
And apparently, though, it's been fixed. I can't. So I don't know how. I guess these were Swarovski crystals. They were not true. Like
It wasn't
natural.
just like a bedazzled, like a sort of like, you know, those little kind of diamonds that you get as a 4-year-old girl, and you kind of, or boy, depending on your persuasion, and speckle out your little chair.
There's
There's
a
so many
throwback.
people in this to be disappointed with. It's amazing. There's so many people that you could just be so annoyed with in this entire. Those two people, the
That's
guy who made it, the guy who put it there, you're all
that's
insane.
Yeah.
that's exactly what I was like. I don't even know where to begin with this because there's so many levels of stupid here that at a certain point, it's like there's a synergy of stupid, and what you get then is art, right? Like Warhol would say, "Look, that's that videotape. That is art. That's why that
Yeah.
chair was made in the first place for precisely that fat ass to fall down on it, and for us to be talking about it later."
Do you
It
know
looks
that
better with the broken legs. It looks
it
actually
does?
better.
It does. It
It
does. It
looks
looks
more
like
like a
more of
Van
an
Gogh thing.
yeah, totally. It's
So
distorted. It's nice. It's like the world. It's like
yeah,
the chair is strong and structured and something that you can be supported by. But no, it cracks as soon as you sit on it.
yeah.
Fabulous. See, do you know it's worth 100 grand?
Because of the
Now,
crystals. Yeah,
Well, now
because
it's probably worth 200 grand.
God, does the fat ass get named? Like, does he get added at the bottom? Such and such a chair by da da da, and this fat ass.
if it had been done intentionally, like Banksy would do, that's
Yeah,
exactly what would have happened, right? The Banksy that got shredded sold for more money than the original one precisely because it had been damaged as part of the ongoing project. So I think the artist probably did make a mistake in fixing it, right? Like
Yeah.
it actually probably would have had, and it would be, as you say, more artsy with the broken leg.
yeah. And in this day and
Yeah.
age, you don't know if that was set up for someone to do that because you know how many TikToky people are out there kind of going hashtag woke up blessed, no filter. Tick.
Given how panicked the museum has been, I think it was not intentional in any way, shape, or form. And they are now in the process of revising all of the use of their museum for selfies because they don't want this to happen again.
Ah, okay.
They
Well,
need
they
to
had
they need
said.
to watch the Thomas Crown affair and realize how lucky they really are. That their only problem is selfies and fat asses and not billionaires with concrete suitcases, because that's my fear as someone who loves art is billionaires who are bored.
If it was a Mission Impossible film, someone would have come down for the ceiling, dun 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 dun,
Literally.
Yeah.
to try to grab that.
And
And this
By the
guy,
way, the guy who composed that theme just died last week.
oh, that's sad.
Yeah, it's kind of sad, but a good theme nonetheless.
Yeah. Oh, that is sad. Way to make a funny
I was
story
hoping
go
for a
down.
joke. I thought you had a great punchline. You know that guy? Dun dun dun. I thought you were going to do that.
I wanted you to come up with the joke. I figured
No,
you'd have
Josh brought in the lead balloon.
Okay,
Which technically went down very well.
I
Sled
can
balloons would go down well.
what okay, that is spilled. On we go.
Okay.
So Ai Weiwei
Ai Weiwei.
put together a 30 by 30-inch piece of artwork using Legos. He did 4 portraits in like a style of like Warhol, Chairman Mao kind of thing,
Marilyn
but using
Monroe.
Legos. Using Legos. And because it's Ai Weiwei, he didn't get sued for using the Legos because it's Ai Weiwei, right?
Yeah. Poor
So
Debbie.
a writer, a journalist decided, well, I want to make my own, and then I want to see like what Ai Weiwei's reaction was. And now remember that Ai Weiwei's this work is a copy, right? Like it's trying to imitate something else. So then he looked at this guy's imitation of it and just sneered at it and said, I am unmoved by your imitation. And again, as with everything we've been talking about this week, it just struck me as so weird that I felt like, why not bring this out to the world?
But I think it's kind of cool. I like the idea that he used the Lego and that it looks like, detailed and it's kind of like that pointillist sort of approach to it. I think it looks quite cool. But like what's the issue?
Well, I think so. The journalist makes a copy that is like as close as he can make to what it is, which is what Ai Weiwei was doing it in Lego in the first place. And he sneered at the man's attempts. I am unmoved by the copy you have made. So the question would be, when would a copy be movable? When would a copy move you? The whole thing it was just very strange to me.
Okay.
Very bizarre.
It's kind of we've come a bit full circle here in how that's like a print version of see. I see what you do there. I see what you did. I see what happens.
I'm not just a pretty face, folks. I'm also a producer.
Look at you thinking through. Plagiarism was a word that I thought of here, but then I was also thinking, it's still quite nice though that you're looking at things in a different way and you can recognize the style. And the way you mentioned that it was a bit like a Warhol just shows that, it's kind of almost
Well,
appreciation rather than
well, look,
plagiarized.
Ronan, do your best BBC One voice for us, please.
Talking about
And what would you like me to say? Welcome to the BBC.
Right. Now, it's funny if you're aware of what that voice sounds like in the original, right? It's funny that a guy sitting in his car getting a burger is able to do that with no thought whatsoever. He just throws it out there, right?
Yeah.
I sneer at your imitation, sir. No, it doesn't. That's funny as hell. That's, to me, that's the kind of thing. But Ai Weiwei apparently has no sense of humor whatsoever.
He's the gatekeeper. He was like, yes, it's a Warhol, but it's with Lego. And I thought of putting the Lego, so now it's original. And anyone after me I sneer at your print, copy,
Literally.
whatever.
To me, it's also that
yeah, he
Ai
added that bit,
Weiwei,
and that makes it original. But
he's known as being like, I'm an outsider, right?
Yeah.
And the point is that the art world, whether it actually commodifies you or not, I think it changes the way you think about things, the way you think about what you do as an artist, right? And to me, that's an example of literally he's sneering in the same way he himself has been sneered at.
Yeah, and say his name again.
Ai Weiwei.
Okay, I wanted you to do that because I keep forgetting it because I've never heard of him. So well done on the being an outsider in the world of art because I hadn't a fucking clue who he was. And if you want to remain an outsider, that would have to remain the case, wouldn't it, mate? And then your opinion wouldn't matter what we think of it. It's art. If you're an artist, that's great, and you can be an artist to the day you die, and you can be famous for it or whatever. But you're going to become part of a system when you are famous for it, whether you like it or not, whether you rail against it or not. It's like listening to U2, who are a rock band, tell you where you should spend your taxes. Stay in your lane, you little fucker.
Yes, Rónán. Yes.
Back to you guys.
Oh dear, Rónán, you're going to be back, I can tell.
He lights a cigarette, he sits back and he says, done.
J'ai fini.
I didn't light it. I'm pretending at the moment. I'll light it now. I need my cigarette. I don't want to promote smoking, but you don't get this voice without it.
So
was that good for you?
On to you. Why don't you tell us about you, Rónán?
Caution. This episode contains depictions of cigarette usage.
And smoking. Smoking. Tell you about me?
Yeah.
Rónán, what are you up to at the moment? Tell us about you. What are you? Who are you?
Hi, my name is Rónán P. Byrne. The P is for Patrick. That's the non-joke answer. Come up with something yourself.
Not for pisshead.
No, I don't drink. But I am pretentious,
Good.
so you can throw that in. I am an actor. I live in the southeast of Ireland, and I've been on stage and in front of a camera or on a podcast or doing voiceovers since probably the age of 4 or 5. I am not famous and I have no money, but I'm very good.
That's what we all say, Rónán.
I took a year out from performing for the first time in my entire life, just simply because I wanted to be. When you're a performer and you're in something, nothing else exists except the show, whatever that is. Or when you're an artist and you're in the midst of something, nothing exists. Birthdays don't exist. None of that exists. There's just the show. And due to family health problems, I wanted to be more present in my life, so I stopped acting, which led me to watch a lot more shows, which was lovely. I got to support people that I wouldn't normally get to see because I'm on stage all the time. But now I'm back on stage. That's how I'm doing. I was an understudy for Irish Affair there in the National Opera House in Wexford, which was just an absolute privilege. To be in that building, to be with that group of people, to get to introduce Sir Tim Rice on stage in the National Opera House is something you provided an opportunity for me there, Eamon. So I thank you very much for that. That was wonderful.
No problem.
And now I'm back on stage in the Opera House in the Jerome Hynes Theatre. I think there's a poster there for invitations by Owen Ruafin. on the 4th, 5th, and 6th of September, which is a brand new piece of work by a very good friend of mine, but an excellent writer beyond that. It's not just because he's my mate. He's an exceptional award-winning writer. His works have been professionally done. They've been brought around the country. And this time he is directing his own works, and I'll be in that. And then a little bit after that is Into the Woods by Stephen Sondheim with North Wexford Musical Theatre, where I'll be playing the mysterious man, which is a character who is a random person who just appears in mad places, says weird random shit, and then fucks off again. And I'm not sure if I can get into that kind of role.
Yeah. It's not
It seems like
typecast at all.
It would be hard for you. You'd really have to, think it through.
I'm going to have to Daniel Day-Lewis the shit out of this. I'm going to have to stop acting and just be. But luckily I can act. Yeah. Luckily I can act and I don't have to go off to Peru for 2 weeks or some bullshit. But Into the Woods is with North Wexford Musical Theatre, which in the last 6 years has proven itself an amazing musical theatre down here in southeast of Ireland. And it's such a weird thing. I've gone from, in my lifetime, from doing things like pantomime to Harold Pinter, musicals of all different varieties, to Shakespeare, to brand new works. Brand new works are my favorite when they're good.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And when you get a writer who knows what they're doing, my friend Onru Finn, everything he's ever written, it'll take him a couple of years, and he won't just blurt it all out like, oh God, who's that? Brendan Behan. God bless Brendan Behan, the great Irish playwright. But if you ever actually read his work or ever was in his work, you know he's got 10 pints of Guinness and a typewriter, and he's not fucking stopping for a break. And he just blurts it all out, and he goes, you deal with it. But great writers go back and they trim and they trim and they trim and they trim, and they get to the truth, they get to the honesty, they get to the emotion that you truly need. And Onru Finn has done that with his new play, Invitations, which very quickly, if I may, is about the cyclical, destructive nature sometimes in relationships. Why do we keep going back? Why do we make the same decisions through different people? And that's explored, but explored in a unique way. And that's all I'll say about that, to be very enigmatic.
And what's your your role?
I play.
Are you in it?
I am in this. It's just I don't know what I'm allowed to say about it. But what am I in it? I play two characters in it who represent everybody else in another two people's relationships. And as I was saying, just like art, just like theater, relationships, sometimes when you're in a new relationship, there's you and then there's the rest of the world. So I play the rest of the world to these two other people's relationship. And you know what I mean? And
Not really, but it sounds interesting.
It sounds right up my street.
But I can't give too much away. And there's no music in it, so I don't know if a lot of my musical friends come into it. Oh, no, I'm told I sing one song in it, so that'll be interesting. I give them awful grief. I'm sorry there's no music in it, but I'm really good. That's not enough. And North Wexford Musical Theatre doing Into the Woods is going to be phenomenal. I don't say things like that lightly about it, but they have Roisin Currid is going to direct, and she's the choreographer. Conor McCarthy, who you know, who was the MD for Irish Affair, who stepped in what, 2 weeks?
Mm-hmm.
He stepped into the MD role for unfortunate reasons of the original MD. But that's how amazing he is, and managed to do what he did and get what he got out of everybody, and he's brilliant, and he's our MD, and he's a wonderful MD, and he told us so much about Sondheim in our first meeting, and that's the difference between a lot of people I've worked with over the years. They just want you to do the play or do the thing and come in and blah, 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 blah. Mm-hmm. But he wanted you to know about the history of this beautiful production. It's kind of like, I've never met a musical director who's done that before. So yeah, I'm looking so much forward to working with them again. And hopefully you'll all come. And I think that's 18, 19, 20 of September. So 2 weeks after my other play. So amazing. Bang into that.
Nice. Where is that on, Rónán?
That will be on in Gorey Little Theatre in Gorey, County Wexford. Okay. And tickets are on sale on Great Events, GR8 events.ie. and
We'll
the
we'll
other
link
one will be on International
we'll
Opera
link that
House.
into the bio below as well, just
Yeah,
for
we'll
people
put it
to
down
have a look. So do have a look at that and look at the tickets for your invitations at the National Opera House in the Jerome Hynes Theatre. Too. That'll be great. Super brilliant. Amazing.
Thank you.
And are you so are you were saying you're kind of you did some like kind of like film work or voiceover work as well? Are you kind of still kind of dipping into that, or are you kind of like staying kind of closer to the stage?
As I say, in the last year, I did nothing, but
Yeah.
usually it's just a simple matter of God forgive me, I'm about to say I sound like a small piece of shit in a toilet, but I'm a floater in this world, and I just literally I've come to this point in my life where if you ring me up and ask me to do something, I'll probably go, yeah, sure, why
I
not?
believe
Does it
the
interest me?
phrase is journeyman. I'm a
Yeah.
journeyman.
Me and
A
Bill
journey.
Murray, we have no agents, but we'll just go, yeah, sure, okay, I'll do that. You may know Bill Murray from his actual movies, but not me from just this.
Well, it's like kung fu. You're just wandering the world.
Oh God, saving production after production. for rice and cuddles.
For rice and cuddles.
Yeah, or soup, I don't mind.
Well, I've been royally entertained for this episode anyway, that's for sure. Thank you very much, Ronan, for doing that. You've been an absolute pleasure to have on as a guest on Spill the RT, episode 51.
You have given us an absolutely memorial, historic. We'll never forget you.
We'll never forget you, Ronan. If this
I
is
wish
your
I could say
legacy,
the same, but the minute this is over, I'm just gone, man. I just have to wipe everyone out. If I meet too many nice people and I just can't keep you on. I lose pin numbers and birthdays because of meeting people like you. So,
okay.
Remind me when this is on again?
Thursday.
Okay.
We're out on Thursdays. Every Thursdays. Thank you for the reminder. Everyone, we're out on Thursdays now. 7 o'clock on all your favorite podcast platforms.
If
and
you
live
click
on YouTube.
if you click on the little bell, it'll automatically show it to you when the next
Yeah.
one comes out.
Yeah, talk about that. Look at that for a nice organic little promotion. Huh?
See?
Yeah.
See?
I know what I'm doing.
Yeah, you do, Ronan. Yeah, you do. Well, Ronan, you've been fantastic as a guest, and we've been delighted to have you on. And thank you very much. And I feel like the fans will want you on again. So you're definitely a lost cause now because we're going to have you on all the time.
Yep.
So thank you for that, and best of luck with our break a leg with both of your productions that are coming up. And
Thank you,
make
guys.
sure everyone you go and see Invitations at the National Opera House on the Jerome Hynes Theatre stage, and go to see Into the Woods in Gorey Little Theatre in September, and the links for both of those are below. So that is all we have time for, folks. As Ronan has said, make sure that you do like, subscribe, share, and all of the above. If you do want to be a guest, get to us at hello@newacollective.com. And Josh, what is your new thing that you're telling everybody to do?
Just leave a comment. Tell
Just
us we
leave a
suck.
comment. Yeah. And if you want, buy some swag, because we love swag.
Swag's good
No.
too, but tell us we suck.
Yeah, I'm the only person who bought some swag. But that's okay. That's fine. I designed lots of swag and nobody bought it. I'm fine. I'm not feeling upset about it. It's okay. It's fine. Okay. So, until next week, have a fabulous week. Enjoy the sunshine. Stay spilling some tea and enjoy your art making. And we'll see you next Thursday. Until then, bye.